Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. The National Inland Waterways Authority has called on waterways transport users to avoid substandard and poorly maintained boats. The authority also urged the National Assembly to expedite the passage of the Coastal Guards Bill to improve safety and security across the nation's waterways. Speaking at a technical meeting with boat manufacturers in Abuja, Managing Director of the authority, Bola Oyebamiji, made the call following the tragic boat mishap on December 16, 2024, along the River Benue routes in Agatu local government area, Benue State, which claimed several lives. Oyembaji expressed deep concern over the increasing frequency of boat accidents, attributing 90% of these incidents to human error. He pointed out that many boat operators lack the necessary training and some are often under the influence of intoxicants before setting out on their journeys. The University of Abuja has denied claims of bias and irregularities in the ongoing selection process of the Vice-Chancellor, as senior professors at the institution reportedly protested what they described as a flawed process for the appointment of the institution's new Vice-Chancellor. The immediate past Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abdulrasheed Na'Allah, before his exit as the VC on July 1, commenced the process for the appointment of his successor. Though Allah handed over to the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academics, Professor Aisha Meikudi, a law professor in an acting capacity, there has been tension in the institution as certain stakeholders insisted that Meikudi did not have enough years of qualification as a professor to attain such height. In a statement issued by the Acting Director of Information and University Relations, Habib Yakub, the university dismissed claims that Meikudi is being unfairly favored, noting that the acting VC, like other candidates who applied for the position, is fully qualified and competent for the role. Adamawa State Police Command has dismissed claims that the convoy of State Governor Amadou Fintiri was attacked by armed robbers in the neighboring Taraba State. The State's Commissioner of Police, Maurice Dawambo, described the social media reports about an attack on the governor's convoy as not only misleading but totally false. He says the facts of the matter were that on December 19, the advanced security vehicle in the convoy of the Adamawa State Governor, while returning from Taraba State, had encountered a roadblock mounted by robbers. The advanced security team of the governor, comprising gallant officers, promptly responded by chasing the armed robbers away, cleared the road and ensured the safe continuation of movements for all motorists. Marking the Holy Year of Catholic Church, Pope Francis has opened a holy door at a prison in Rome, offering a message of hope and forgiveness to inmates. The opening of a holy door in prison is a symbolic gesture. The Pope is known for advocating for the forgiveness of convicted criminals and their reintegration into society. Arriving in a wheelchair, Francis paused for a moment of silence before rising with the help of a walking stick. During the visit, the Pope left the inmates with a message of hope. 4 drug kingpins have been arrested in connection with the historic seizure of over 2,000 kilograms of cocaine at Ikorodu Residential Estate in Lagos since 2022 and have been convicted by Federal High Court Lagos, presided over by Justice Yelim Bogoro, who sentenced them to various jail terms totaling 28 years with hard labor. A statement signed by Director, Media and Advocacy of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA Headquarters, Femi Babafemi, says operatives of a special operations unit of the agency had, in a well-coordinated and intelligence-led operation on Sunday, September 18, 2022, raided a house located at 6 Olukola Crescent, Sholebo Estate, Ikorodu, Lagos, where the over 2.1 tons of cocaine were seized, the largest singular cocaine seizure in the history of Nigeria's anti-narcotic operations. After 2 years of diligent prosecution, he says the trial judge handed the Jamaican Kelvin Christopher Smith 4 years imprisonment with hard labor. Emmanuel Arinze Chukwu got a total of 16 years. Soji Jibril Oke got 5 years with hard labor, and Wasiu Akinyade 3 years with hard labor. The trial judge, however, gave the convicts varying options of fine, with the exception of one of them who will serve his full jail term without an option of fine. Osun State High Court has dismissed viral reports of sentencing a young man to death for stealing a fowl. The court clarified the facts of the case in a statement signed by its chief registrar, saying such claims are baseless and intended to malign the judiciary and its officials, as it described the reports as the work of mischief makers. Media reports had claimed that one Olowokere Segun was sentenced to death for stealing a fowl, a narrative the court strongly refuted, tagging them as mischievous and misleading. Providing clarity on the case, the court explained that Olowokere Segun and his accomplice Morakinyo Sunday were arrested in April 2010 for a series of armed robberies, including an armed robbery at a poultry in Oya town of Osun State, where weapons were recovered from the suspects, who also confessed to their crimes. The judiciary emphasized that the trial judge followed the law in delivering the mandatory death sentence for armed robbery, while also recommending the convicts for clemency. The Nigerian Air Force has announced plans to acquire 24 M364 fighter ground attack jets and 10 AW109 Tracker helicopters to boost its air capabilities in the fight against insurgency. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar made this known at the Christmas luncheon with the Nigerian Air Force personnel in Maiduguri, Borno State capital. He says the current security challenges in the country require modern and versatile platforms to be addressed, noting that the Nigerian Air Force would continue to sustain capacity building initiatives, personnel training, as well as research and development to enhance operational efficiency. Similarly, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede has celebrated Christmas with sick and wounded soldiers in action, assuring them that their sacrifices would never go in vain. Oluyede, speaking at the 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna, assured that the welfare of officers, soldiers, and their families, including the injured and those who lost their lives, remain his top priority. Represented by the Corps Commander Artillery, Major General Marcus Kange, the Chief of Army Staff reaffirmed the readiness of the Nigerian Army to upscale issues to foster professionalism and combat readiness under his watch, alongside a stronger emphasis on maintaining sound administration. He therefore pledged to prioritize personnel welfare, recognize excellence, and ensure an efficient system of rewards and sanctions, as he thanked all officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army for their sacrifices and untiring commitments in tackling the numerous security challenges facing the country. Vice President Kashif Shettima has expressed optimism about Nigeria's future, reaffirming the commitment of the federal government to national security, economic transformation, and the well-being of all citizens. In a Christmas message, Shettima assured Nigerians that the administration of President Bola Tinubu is resolute in its efforts to tackle critical issues such as security and economic challenges as the country prepares for the incoming year. Highlighting Nigeria's diversity as strength, the Vice President called on the citizens to use the festive period to strengthen unity across all regions and faiths. The spirit of Christmas filled the air as Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State joined his people at his hometown parish of St. Rose of Lima Catholic Church in Ozuomoma, Oru East local government area, to celebrate the Christmas Mass, where he delivered his Christmas message to the people. The event highlighted unity, faith, and the governor's bond with people. Amarachi Ibe was there for Global Television.
As Governor Hope Uzodinma returned to his own town to celebrate Christmas with his people, the serene atmosphere of St. Rose of Lima Parish, Ozuomoma, was filled with hymns and prayers as the congregation came together to mark the birth of Christ. In his homily, Cardinal Peter Opaleke, who presided over the Holy Mass, urged Christians to hold steadfastly to their faith and trust in God, even in challenging times.
So, my dear brothers and sisters, as we celebrate today, as we celebrate this Christmas this year, and as we rejoice and share the joy that the Word has become flesh and is dwelling among us, let us open our hearts and welcome Him and allow Him to transform our lives so that we may become instruments of peace, justice, reconciliation, hope, and most importantly, brothers and sisters to one another.
Sinimo life during the Holy Mass, Governor Uzodinma expressed gratitude to God for the gift of life. He urged the people to embrace the values of love, peace, and unity, which are the essence of the Christmas season.
Let us take advantage of the season to show love to our people, which is the reason for the season. As we celebrate this year's Christmas, I urge all Imo people, and indeed Nigerians, to show love to one another, irrespective of your political party, your religious affiliation. Let love lead us this Christmas. Let us shower love on our neighbors. Let us show love to our state. Let us show love to our country.
The governor celebrates Christmas with his people. The occasion serves as a reminder of the importance of leadership rooted in compassion and connection to the grassroots. From Ozo Omoma in Oru East of Imo State, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you, Amarachi, for your reporting. The Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base Igbokoda has intercepted a boat carrying approximately 100,000 liters of stolen crude oil at the Idiogba Mahin coastline in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State. Commanding officer of the base, Captain Aliyu Uthman, disclosed this to journalists during an assessment visit to the site, stating that the naval team acted on credible intelligence and swiftly deployed its quick response team. He explained that the team intercepted the wooden boats loaded with the stolen crude oil along with its items used for bunkering activities such as discharge hoses and pumping machines. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Cycle returns, King Charles hails health workers, calls for peace. Details of these as well as sports and business stories for you. All of that in the beat. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. Let's turn to business for you now. The United Arab Emirates has become the largest investor in new business projects in Africa, committing $110 billion to various ventures between 2019 and 2023. According to Middle East Monitor, this includes $72 billion for renewable energy, surpassing investments by the United Kingdom, France, and China. Citing FT Locations, a provider of investment promotion and economic development data and digital solutions for the foreign and domestic direct investment industry, United Arab Emirates companies have pledged $110 billion in projects across the continent, outpacing traditional investors. Much of the investment has focused on renewable energy and other projects. African leaders have welcomed this increased investment, especially for energy and infrastructure. Sounds humongous and strategical at the same time. The World Bank has announced the removal of several loan fees to make borrowing more affordable for vulnerable countries. The Global Bank disclosed this through a link posted on its official X handle, stating that the move is part of a broader effort to expand financial capacity and address urgent global challenges, including climate change, inequality, and economic fragility. It further revealed that the bank had eliminated the prepayment premium on International Bank for Reconstruction and Development (IBRD) loans, introduced a grace period for commitment fees on undisbursed balances, and extended its lowest pricing to small, vulnerable states. The financial institution noted that the bank is working hard to make it easier for countries to borrow and pay back their loans more easily by removing some fees on IBRD loans. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has earmarked 35 million naira in its 2025 budget proposal for capacity building on cybersecurity and data center management. This allocation comes at a critical time as the agency grapples with the aftermath of a cyber attack that comprised and compromised its website on December 18, 2024. The breach, which was publicly disclosed via the Bureau's official X account, led to a warning for the public to disregard any information on the platform until the situation is resolved. This incident has raised significant concerns about the vulnerability of the Bureau's digital infrastructure, especially considering its crucial role as Nigeria's primary source of statistical data. The Democratic Front, TDF, has hailed the announcement of a $5 billion final investment decision by Shell for the Bonga North Deep offshore field, describing it as further proof of the Tinubu administration's investment-friendly policies. In a statement signed by its chairman, Danjuma Mohammed, and the secretary, Wale Adebayo, the group emphasized that the development demonstrates Nigeria's continued appeal to international oil companies, IOCs, for major investments. It says it is confident that more IOCs will likely key into the fiscal incentives introduced by the administration to make fresh investments in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. And now let's jump to the foreign scene. King Charles III has expressed gratitude to doctors and nurses in the United Kingdom for their selfless service in supporting the royal family in his Christmas address, marking the end of the year during which he and Princess Catherine have battled cancer. Speaking in a pre-recorded message from a former hospital chapel, the king paid tributes to medical staff, veterans, and humanitarian workers, and touched on topics ranging from global conflicts to the far-right riots in the United Kingdom this summer. Foreign desk correspondent Amina Jibril has details.
The monarch's traditional Christmas message, the first in nearly 2 decades, made outside a royal residence, was symbolically filmed in the honor
in Africa and elsewhere, pose a daily threat to so many people's lives and livelihoods. We also think of the humanitarian organizations working tirelessly to bring vital relief.
The eco-conscious king notably did not address climate change or environmental concerns this time around, in a shift from last year's address. Amina Jibril reporting for Global Television News.
Our foreign desk correspondent Amina Jibril, thank you so very much for your reporting. Let's turn to other stories for you. Syria's new authorities have launched an operation in a stronghold of ousted President Bashar al-Assad, with the war monitor saying 3 gunmen affiliated with the former government were killed. Assad had fled Syria after an Islamist-led offensive wrested from his controlled city after city until Damascus fell on December 8, ending his clan's 5-decade rule and more than 13 years of civil war. Syria's new leaders from Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham face the monumental task of safeguarding the multi-sectarian, multi-ethnic country from further collapse. A Palestinian TV channel says 5 of its journalists have been killed in an Israeli strike in the central Gaza Strip. According to reports, the journalists were in a Quds van parked outside Al-Wad Hospital, where the wife of one of the journalists was about to give birth in the central Nuseirat refugee camp. The channel posted a video of what it said was the burning vehicle with press signage on the back of the doors. The Israeli Air Force says it had attacked in a targeted manner and with intelligence guidance a vehicle with members of armed group Palestinian Islamic Jihad inside. Bangladesh has ordered a commission to investigate a failed 2009 army mutiny and subsequent crackdown, including the role of alleged foreign backers. That's according to the inquiry chief. The violent mutiny sent shockwaves through the South Asian nation and ended with the army crushing the mutinous, with the scores arrested and sentenced to death. A previous official investigation into the mutiny, which left scores dead, blamed years of pent-up anger among ordinary soldiers who felt their appeals for pay rises and better treatment were ignored. For every action, there's an equal reaction, as they say in the sciences. But time to catch some excitement from the world of sport now. Erling Haaland had a second-half penalty served as Manchester City's astonishing slump continued with a 1-1 draw against lowly Everton at the Etihad Stadium. Winners of the last 4 Premier League titles, the English champions have won just once in their last 13 games in all competitions. Bernardo Silva put City in front early before Liman Ndiaye salvaged a point for the Toffees. City climbed to 6th but could end the day 5 points adrift of the top 4. City boss Pep Guardiola considered ahead of the game that his side are at risk of failing to qualify for the Champions League for the first time in 15 years. Sporting Lisbon have sacked coach Joao Pereira just over a month after he replaced Ruben Amorim at the helm with Rui Borges appointed boss. Pereira was named coach when Amorim left for English giants Manchester United, but has paid the price for Sporting's sudden loss of form. The capital club, who had a 100% record in the Premier Liga this season before he took over, lost all sports in the Portuguese top flight to Benfica following a 0-0 draw with Gil Vicente last weekend. The chairman of the Nigerian Premier Football League, NPFL, Gbenga Elegbeleye, has declared that the minimum salary a club should pay players will be reviewed after the 2024-2025 campaign. Elegbeleye disclosed this during a roundtable discourse with newsmen in Akure, Ondo State capital, insisting the league would only attract investors through transparency, credibility, and professional refereeing. According to the former Director General of the National Sports Commission, the league management would continue its zero tolerance for hooliganism and any kind of violence at match venues. Former Golden Eagles player Hamzat Ojediron says he aims to secure a place in the senior national team, that's the Super Eagles, ahead of the remaining World Cup matches in 2025. Ojediron, based on his sterling performances for his League One team, Lens is hopeful that the coach of the former Super Eagles will consider him, as he believes he has the quality to compete at the highest level. Despite suffering a hamstring injury after joining Lesong from Bulgarian sides Debrecen, the former junior international midfielder quickly settled into the club setup and claimed a starting spot in the lineup. Let's look away from soccer for a minute. In tennis now, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka says she feels fresh and ready to go for the new tennis season as she looks to back up her stellar year. The Belarusian defended her Australian Open title in January before winning the US Open in September, her 3rd major singles title. The 26-year-old also replaced Iga Swiatek at the top of the world rankings and finished as the year-end number 1. That's quite a brilliant and sterling outcome ultimately. But that's a full cycle on the news here, and it came to you on Global Television here in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Just to remind all of our viewers across the world that Global TV is available on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air and Nightcom Sat. We encourage all of our viewers to use the handle at Global TV NG, as well as others you now see on your screen, to interact and engage with us across social media platforms. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, thanking you very specially for watching. We'll see you again.